I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Dean with the JoBlo Movie Network. Superheroes are now as much a part of movies as they used to be in print, and for good reason. We all look up to our favorite superheroes for inspiration to defeat evil, do what is right, and many times just plain look cool. But even superheroes can't always be super perfect. Whether it is being clumsy, naive, or overconfident, our heroes can screw up just as bad as us mere mortals. In fact, when superheroes screw up, it usually ends up being a super screw up. So that means it must be time to count down JoBlo's top 10 superhero fails. At number 10 is a failure of overconfidence. One of the world's favorite superheroes, Batman, is known for always defeating the bad guys by either sheer brute force or by outsmarting them. In The Dark Knight Rises, Batman made a poor choice of trying to defeat Bane by brute force, and he failed miserably. In fact, it was so bad, Bane ended up breaking his back in this infamous scene known from comics as well as here in the last movie of the Nolan trilogy. Come on, Batman, we expect more from you. This was a moment of epic bat fail. At number 9 is Fan 4-Stick 4. Well, at least it is if you read their logo out loud. And what character or actor in this movie is on the fail list, you might ask? Everyone! You said it, Gary. Everyone is to blame with this one. I don't think we're alone when we say this entire movie is a total failure from beginning to end. What's crazy is that it had the potential to be good. The actors are all proven elsewhere, and the director gave us the great indie movie Chronicle, of which I was a fan, but yet the entire movie was a total disaster for many known and yet some unknown reasons we can only speculate about. For example, where the hell was all that awesome action footage from the trailer? Nowhere in the movie, that's for sure. At number 8 is Professor X and Magneto succeeding pretty well at their new task of recruiting mutants. However, you can't win them all. In one of the best cameos of all time, Charles and Eric track down an older mutant they want to add to their ranks, but he doesn't exactly take kindly to the idea.
Go fuck yourself.
After Logan politely refuses their interest in him, they choose not to push the matter and leave him in peace. But as we all well know, that isn't the first time or the last that we get to see the Wolverine show up in the X-Men movies, and his trademark attitude is intact in all of them. At number 7 is a pretty unconventional superhero and a pretty awful failure on his part. We're talking about the self-proclaimed Kick-Ass, out on his first patrol trying to prevent an auto theft. I mean, what could go wrong? He's dressed as a superhero, he gives the crooks a chance to walk away before he delivers justice to them, and he's got a weapon to defend himself in case things go south. But reality hits him when the two crooks don't walk away and certainly don't plan on fighting fair. Kick-Ass ends up punched and stabbed in the gut. Stumbling away from the scene, he then ends up getting hit by a car. I don't know about you, but I would call his first attempt at crime fighting a pretty damn big failure. At number 6 is Captain America, the First Avenger. Everyone has growing pains, some are worse than others, but even with this hilarious failure, Steve Rogers must be given credit for immediately being able to adapt to a brand new body literally minutes after his old one was transformed. Having been an extremely small, frail man before, he had no idea what his newfound strength was going to do for him, nor did he know how fast his new legs could carry him. Running as fast as his new super soldier body would allow ended up throwing him off balance enough to go sailing into a storefront window while chasing the bad guy. Definitely a hilarious fail for the captain. At number 5, even Superman himself can fail spectacularly. In the awesome sequel Superman 2 from 1980, we first see a flashback of the evil General Zod, Ursa, and Non being banished to the Phantom Zone for crimes against Krypton prior to its destruction. Then, in the present day, Superman carries a hydrogen bomb into outer space to foil a terrorist plot to blow up the Eiffel Tower. Now, pretty much everyone would agree this is an awesome success, and congratulations should be had all around. But there's an old proverb that says all roads to hell are paved with good intentions, and this saying never seemed so appropriate. Even though Superman's heroic action seemed wonderful on the surface, this same action resulted in freeing Zod and his minions from the Phantom Zone in a massive failure unbeknownst to Superman until later. At number 4 is another failure by the Dark Knight himself, this time from Batman Begins. While not as bone-crunching as his other failure, this time he is actually more unprepared than he was against Bane, and this time is even more embarrassing. Being one of the lamest adversaries of Batman, the Scarecrow gets the best of him using the most basic techniques of hallucination-inducing drugs blown into his face. Batman, being only human, reacts negatively to the drugs and starts hallucinating wildly. But that's not all. The Scarecrow then sets sets him on fire, forcing Batman to blindly jump out a window of a multi-story building to the horror of onlookers on the streets below. Talk about embarrassing. Again, we expect more from you, Bats. Iron Man lands at number 3 with a thud. Research and development for any new technology is riddled with success and failure. Even a genius like Tony Stark can misjudge the power of his own invention every now and then. Building a prototype high-tech suit that includes its own power supply, life support, weaponry, and navigation is probably a bit tough for anyone. Starting the suit design with his jet boots first was maybe not the best idea, and then testing the boots with a 10% thrust was probably an even worse idea. But you live and learn, I suppose. After the headache stops, of course. It's a hell of a failure for Tony, but he did get the rest of the suit right, as we see later. In one of the best scenes from Avengers Age of Ultron, we see the members of the Avengers team all try to lift Thor's hammer. What we get here is a multi-failure on so many levels. I love this scene for the editing and the fun of it. You really do believe that moments like this could happen when everyone is relaxing during peacetime and celebrating a victory. As we all know, Thor is the only one worthy of wielding the hammer given to him by his father Odin. In a concept mirroring that of King Arthur's sword, each Avenger steps up to the plate using their own abilities and strengths to try to lift the hammer. It's fail after fail after fail. But for a brief moment, there's the possibility that Captain America might even be worthy to lift it. Even though that possibility fades almost instantly, it leaves Thor rattled in the moment, giving us even one more fail by Thor himself when his confidence is shaken. That's why Avengers Age of Ultron sits at number 2. And our number 1 favorite superhero fail has to be Peter Parker running out of web in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Mary Jane Watson, the love of his life, ends up engaged to the son of J. Jonah Jameson, which puts Peter Parker into a tailspin of emotional instability. His jealousy and depression result in him temporarily losing his powers, including his web-slinging ability. Oh, and if you're confused right now, just remember in Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, the web-slinging abilities were biological, not a technological invention. This always made more sense to me, by the way. Regardless, the Amazing Spider-Man isn't so amazing anymore when his emotions get the best of him. There's many more moments of cinematic super failures out there, so tell us down below what your favorite superhero fails are. I'm Jason Dean for the JoBlo Movie Network, and thanks for